We'll get here when he gets here. And I'm recording. There we go. Okay. Okay, so 10X rule, chapters 8 through 10. I did all my notes. I'm so proud of myself. Well, Julie did the notes. I put them on the thing. But I didn't do it last time, so I didn't finish it last time. So Julie took awesome notes as usual. So chapter 8, average is a failing formula. The addiction to average can kill the possibility of making your dreams a reality. So I thought that addiction to average, that resonates with me quite a bit for some reason. That surprised me. But yeah, addiction to average. What do you think of that, Jeff?
Average and complacency is so comfortable.
It really is.
that would be why it's addicting, I believe.
Certainly, it's easy.
Right. So then he goes on to say, he talks about reading, and we've talked about this before, but he goes on about reading, and he said the average worker reads less than one book every year and works an average of 37.5 hours a week. The same person makes 319 times less money than the top U.S. CEOs who claim they read more than 60 books a year. So good job for us for not only reading, but really talking about it. See, good job. Everybody pat themselves on the back. So any undertaking that includes...
Yeah, I found that.
Go ahead. Julie?
No, I was just saying that I talked. Can you hear me?
Yes, a little bit. Try again.
Okay, I was just saying that I when I talk to other real estate agents and they say they don't read, it's like my first clue. Oh, I guess I pass judgment and think, oh, you're not interested in bettering yourself.
Right. People don't realize that it will help them. They just don't.
I've read, I don't know, I'm not a 60 book a year reader by any means. I'm probably on average a couple, but this format, this book club is going to do wonders for diving in and really, really digesting what's going on in the book. And I will tell you that if I look back at least once a year, not that I've been involved in a book club like this before, but when there's some kind of group study or some kind of accountability on a particular book, obviously you get more out of it. I feel like that's kind of a no-brainer. But if I look back at my forward in business or life for that matter, from a mindset change and a take action change, it's always associated with a period of time where I really dove into a book and took something out of it.
Yeah, I highly agree with that, and that resonates with me too. Every time I've really focused on something, a self-improvement book, it definitely gets in you. It's even not even a self-improvement book. If you read any book, like a fiction book, you get into it, you start experiencing what the characters experience, and and it's a little different than even just watching TV, so I guess I never had thought really how important it was, but it is. And even there's there's just statistics for having books in your household. Like there's statistics for children who grew up with having books in the household, like books on shelves that they have access to. There's how much more successful they're going to be in life. So there you go. Okay. So any undertaking that includes accepting average will fail you sooner than later. That's fun. So don't accept average. Normal levels of action fail to take into account the effects of various unstoppable, I'm going to add that word, forces like gravity, age. You don't really have all the time in the world, you know. Resistance that's gonna come up from your surroundings, timing, and the unexpected. You know, unexpected can happen. So if you're just doing these average levels or normal action, you're gonna fall behind if these things come against you, is what he's saying. So does anybody have anything to say about that? We've got. Go ahead, Jeff. Were you going to say something?
I think that the point is that massive action shields you from these things. I don't think it's a guarantee that you're safe from them, but it shields you from them more than average thinking and average action, I think is the point, right? I mean, you get above all these unexpected or uncontrollable things.
We got a new person that hopped on. Nakia. Hi, Nakia. So next is, oh, did you try to say something, Nakia?
I was just saying hi.
Welcome to our little group here. Okay, so 10x thinking. This was interesting to me. Keep in mind that people will try to take from you what they are unable to create for themselves. When you stop operating at 10x levels, you are susceptible. Average levels will fail you. So it just goes along with what you were just saying. But I find it interesting that people will try to take from you what they aren't able to create them for themselves. I've been seeing that a little bit, and that's interesting to me. And he says, if you create more success than you want or need, you'll always be prepared for those who want to steal it from you. So, yeah, Jeff. Oh, Jeff's coming back. Okay. All right, 10x commitment. Change your commitment and thinking to far above any concepts of average. So I took this quote from what Julie wrote down. Your 10x commitment will start to influence other areas of your life, like your friends and family will start to change, results will improve, time will fly. By your actions you're taking, you will begin to improve your associations with people. What do you think of that, Julie?
I agree. I mean, success breeds success, and that's what I've been saying lately is you will start attracting people around you that will kind of follow suit. Mm-hmm. I think.
It's like, you know, my mother was right, you know, birds of a feather flock together.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just like I have a client right now who is buying a house here, and she's already referred me to 2 people, and we're still trying to get the appraisal done on the house, for crying out loud. And she's like, okay, I gave your card to these people, and you know, and here's their names, and you know, I mean, it's like they are around other people who are buying houses too, because that's in their wheelhouse right now. So they're attracting other people who are also buying.
I love that. That is a great point. You know, so are we, you know, and you're doing so awesome, Julie, just with all the positive energy and hard work you're putting into this. It is really coming together for you. You're probably almost too busy, which is great. Success is your, so here he goes on again to say, success is your duty, your obligation, and your responsibility. Prohibit yourself from considering average as an option. So it's not even an option to be average. Chapter 9 is about 10x goals. He says, Grant says, one reason people don't stick to their goals is because they don't set them high enough. If you start small, you're probably going to go small. And that, seems counterintuitive. Like maybe if my goals are too big, I don't even try to reach them because it's just too much work. Or maybe a smaller goal seems more doable, so you actually do it. But he's arguing against that. Which, I tend to agree with. And the reason for that, and then he goes on, why and how to set high goals is you really can't get excited about average goals, but you can get excited about big goals. Here's some why and how. So write your goals down every single day, not just once or twice a year. And I find that interesting. Like, what are you supposed to do? Like copy them, or just they're always changing. You almost have them memorized and they're evolving, so you can write them down. I guess I just have to start doing it to see what that looks like. That seems like a lot of work right there, just because, especially when I sit down to write my goals out, like he's talked about at the beginning of the year, it's so time consuming. It's like, it could take me 3 days, but I guess once you have them and you keep writing them down, it goes faster because you've already kind of got them lined up, and then they'll evolve. I don't know. Choose objectives that are just out of reach. So, don't even choose objectives that you can do. Choose them that they're just out of reach so that you're going to strive harder. It's like that whole idea, that story of being 3 feet from gold. Was that in our Think and Grow Rich book? I don't know. Julie, you guys are all silencing yourself. Virtual citizen. Who the heck is that? That's fun. Okay. We just got a new person. It says virtual citizen. Okay. What's next? So examples of huge goals. I own 5,000 apartments that return over 12% positive cash flow. Now, these are Grant Cardone's goals. I'm sure his have gotten bigger and bigger over the years, but these are his examples. I am perfect in health and physical condition. My net worth is over 100 million. So he is writing down these goals as though he's already accomplished them. Okay, so those are examples. Does anybody have anything to say about that?
I'm trying to find parking, so sorry.
You concentrate. All right. Julie is with her son. He's going into the hospital for some surgery, and it's going to be okay and everything, but that's what she's doing right now. So anyway, so continuing on with this whole idea of why and how to set big goals. The bigger, more juicier the goal, the more likely you'll be motivated to move in that direction and through resistance that you're going to get. If you have average goals and you get hit with any resistance, you're going to give up. Realistic thinking is based on what others think is possible. That is so true. I don't like to think realistically. My business partner, Rebecca, she always wants to think realistically what is possible. And I don't, I think what is outlandish? What is the most outlandish thing that I can come up with? And then, so that pushes her. So we kind of have a good yin yang thing going on, this push pull, but it's good. Hi, Adam.
Hi. Sorry I'm late. I had something to do before I jumped in. It took a little longer than planned.
That is just fine. I was a good girl and wrote down Julie's notes in these slides, so you can look over the slides.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so continued. Most people speak the language that their family speaks. So like how you were raised, our politics, our religion, it's all kind of ingrained in us from how we were raised. Most are influenced by decisions our parents, teachers, and friends have made, and the limitation set by them for us. Your goals are manipulated by your surroundings. I mean, it's just a fact. Our parents didn't try to hurt us on purpose, but when they told us, no, stop that, you can't do that, or, you've got to do these things in order to be successful. And there were a lot of limits to that. It can hurt somebody over time. Does anybody have anything to say about that?
I think it kind of reminds me of like when, usually when you're a new parent and you're kind of in like you're comparing your kid to somebody else's kid. Mm-hmm. And like, I think usually it's the in-laws that will tell you, like children are products of their environment. Mm-hmm. Like whatever they're around, that's what they're going to be like. If their dad is a jerk, that's what they learn and that's what they mimic. They're probably going to be a jerk too, so. Right.
Yeah.
Kind of reminds me of like that kind of a situation where it's, basically like you are who you affiliate with,
Yeah. Well, I just think about my mom. Like my mom wanted good things for me and stuff, but she wanted me to be a dancer. She wanted me to be a dentist. I don't know. She wanted me to do all these things that just, wasn't good. She never had in mind for me what I'm doing now. Not that she didn't. I don't know. Anyway, it's just, it's interesting.
Yeah, like my parents, so my father was a battalion chief of a local fire department here.
Oh, okay.
And my mom's still working. He's retired. My mom's still working. She's a surgical technician on a cardiac crash team in Green Bay. And so they're both very important, but service, emergency kind of, medical type services. And they had a kind of like a hands-off supportive approach to what me and my brothers, did or whatever. It's basically like you do what you want to do as long as you're happy and you feel good about going to work, and I will be behind you. Like that was their thing. They didn't really push me. It was like, like you just figure out what you want to do and cool. So
right. Interesting. Okay. Nice. So how to set these high goals for success. So set goals for you and nobody else. So don't, set a certain goal because of somebody else or for them to please them. Realize that anything is possible. You have more potential than you realize. Success is your duty, obligation, and responsibility. We're back to that. Regardless of the size of the goal, it will require work. So accept all those things. The 10X rule is meant for people obsessed with creating an exceptional life and who want to be in charge of the process. That is so me. Does anybody else have anything to say about that?
I'm 100%. I want control of it. And if it's something that I can't control, it is what it is. But that's me for sure.
Is that you for sure? Yeah, you just, yeah, I am obsessed with it too. And I want to have that control. And what I love is, and I don't think that in the past, I realized I could have control, but now I do. Over the last few years, I've realized, I do have this control, and it is mind-bending. It's life-changing. It's liberating, actually, once you realize how much control you have over your own life.
I'm in the position where I have more accountability and awareness than I have control.
Oh, well, you're learning to find a balance. That's good. So why and how to set goals for success continued. So set 10 times targets. So think about what it is you want to accomplish, what you're going to have to do to achieve it, and then multiply that by 10 to think about what kind of effort you're actually going to have to put in, which can be overwhelming, but it is what it is. Align your goals with your other purposes, your values, and it was sometime in 2012 that I remember saying to myself or putting out there, wow, I trust myself. For the first time, I can trust myself with everything. And I actually I think I put it on Facebook. I remember I trust myself more than I've ever trusted myself. And somebody commented, like, how do you do that? How do you trust yourself now? And I said, because now I know that everything that I do, all my goals and everything I do and all the people I surround myself with align with what I want, who I am, and what my values are. And if I stick in that line, I'm going to be okay. You know, I can trust myself to do that now. And so that was really kind of eye-opening. So I really liked that, just that sentence, aligning your goals with your other purposes. And then writing your goals down when you wake up and before you go to sleep. So this is going to be something new that I'm going to add in that I've never really done before or been consistent with, is writing down my goals daily. That is, I get it.
I write down my goals. I write 3 goals down every day, but Grant writes down like 5.
He writes all his goals, like is constantly getting in him. It's kind of like, you know, when you were a kid and you had to write on the board. Well, I did anyway. This didn't happen to you guys, but I had to write, like, I will not stick out my tongue. I will not stick out my tongue like 100 times on the chalkboard. Yeah, that was me. Okay.
But like the one thing too that I admire about Grant is I follow him on social media. I stalk him on YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram. And like, this dude is really serious. I mean, like, you want to talk about like people that just like BS and kind of do things, like I remember he was saying about like time blocking schedules, you know, so, well, I get up at 4:30 and I'm in the gym for an hour. He's like, dude, nobody does that. Like, people that say that, like, they don't actually do that 7 days a week. You know, it's just BS, you know. But like, he talks consistently about being consistent, and like all this stuff that's in this book here, like he talks about this stuff all the time, even like through social media as it goes on. And it's like, he's about as serious when he talks about this stuff being important as if he's giving you like a death notice about a loved one, where it's just like straight up, like, just, this is the facts, man. Like, this is just what it is. It's really interesting to follow him about this stuff, because it's not just like, well, I'm just going to throw some content in a book so I can make some money. Like, this is the real deal.
Great. Like, he believes this and he lives this. Yeah. Well, and you know, and I get it, because I mean, I've seen it. I've seen the evidence of it in my own life. So, and that reminds me, at the end, we all agreed to talk about something that we were going to 10X, and we're going to talk about that at the end. Okay. Chapter 10, competition is for sissies. In the business world, you always want to be in a position to dominate, not compete. And I love this too. It's so liberating. It's like you're just rising above everything else. There's an old saying that competition is healthy, but the new saying is, if competition is healthy, then domination is immunity. I love that. Love it, love it, love it. So domination is immunity.
That's awesome.
Isn't that awesome? I love it.
Yeah.
So how to dominate? Forward thinkers don't copy. They don't compete. They create. And I love that, because I'm such a creative person and I'm always coming up with things. So I'm like, yes, this is true, you know? So, and then the first step to dominate is to decide to do so. And then do what others refuse to do. So that's basically, don't copy, create, decide that you're going to dominate, and then do the work that other people refuse to do. This is interesting too, taking the unfair advantage. Always be ethical, but never play fair, which is something I'm trying to wrap my head around. Seek out ways to get the unfair advantage by doing what others won't do, not being immoral or, you know, doing something the opposite of your ethical values, but seek out ways to get the unfair advantage by doing what others won't do. find something others can't do, maybe because of their size or their commitments, and exploit that, which is, wow, okay. I'm just thinking there's a, what I can relate this to, like, so there is a huge agent. I think he's like number one in Michigan. He's well known actually throughout the country. It's Jeff Glover. He's a young guy. He's 34, 35. And he is a huge agent. He has a huge team, and he's from the Detroit area, but now he's got his billboards and signs and everything in Grand Rapids, which is like 2.5 hours, on the west side where I live. And so he comes across as the dominator, but what can I do to dominate over that? Because I can do things he can't do. So I have to find ways that I can exploit what he can't do. And number one, I live here. That's one thing, just different things like that. So I'm just kind of thinking out loud to try to wrap my head around this. Learn from those who want to compete, but don't chase them. Does anybody else have anything to say about this part?
Yeah. So, both to the point you were talking about and to the other thing, the number one there. So when I went through the police academy, that's kind of what they were saying, is basically like they said it as, if you were in if you get into a fight with somebody from the public, mm-hmm. and you are in a fair fight, your tactics suck.
Okay.
It was like that whole thing is like you always have to have the upper hand. Mm-hmm. Like there's nothing else. If you're playing fair, you're going to lose. You have to win all the time, everything you go into. And it's like that confidence, dominance, control mindset is basically like, do what you do, but you better come out walking away instead of crawling away. Right. Which is like, whoa, okay.
Perspective, because as a police officer, you have to, whatever it is, you have to know how to win, be the winner, whether it means you have the skills to de-escalate the situation or the skills to, pin the other person down, whatever you need to do. You have to be the winner because you might be dead otherwise.
Yep. Yeah. It's like every single fight that you get into as a cop is a fight for your life, because it's,
that is super interesting. I appreciate that perspective. Because I went through the academy, but I was never hired in law enforcement. But it really taught me some interesting things about people and just perspectives in life and things like that. But the other thing, like what you're talking about, like the big team and kind of how you can, how you can be different and dominate based on their weakness. Like one of the things around here is the larger teams. We have, I think, like 2 or 3 teams that are like, they're like the billboard kind, and they can't move as fast as we can. Right.
We can decide, hey, shit, let's do this right now. We can implement that this afternoon. They can't do that. They may have, like lead, inside sales agents and stuff, mm-hmm. but they take a day or 2 to get back to somebody.
Right.
I have a personal policy where waking hours, 2 hours or less. Anything beyond that is absolutely ridiculous and poor customer service, and that will not be tolerated in my business. Mm-hmm. The big teams can't do that. They can't guarantee that. I can. So that kind of thing where it's that responsiveness, especially in this market, like, hey, I want to go check this out. Cool.
Let's go.
Respond in an hour. I got it set up. Let's rock and roll. Mm-hmm. And they're like, oh, wow. You try going to a big team like that, well, you got to talk to 6 people before you can even talk to the person that's going to be popping the door for you.
To talk to this person, 2 to talk to this person. Right. Okay.
I actually can comment on that. So like can you guys hear me okay? I got my earbuds in the waiting room, if you hear background noise. I actually had a client who I'm trying to get. He's a $1.3 million listing. I was referred to him by one of my friends, mortgage broker, and she introduced us by email, and then a soft touch email. So then I reached out through email, saying hello. And then about a week went by, and I was getting ready to give him a call, and he called me, and we were chatting and talking, at the end of our conversation, he was asking a question about a house that that is like $1 million house on the lake that he's interested in, and had a question about it. So I told him I'd look into it and I'd get back. So what I ended up doing is I actually made an appointment to preview the property. And I walked through and walked down to the boathouse because it's on the lake, and I took some pictures. He was asking about a tank, some kind of white tank in the basement that he was wondering what the heck that was for. I reached out to the listing agent, asked some questions, and I took some pictures, and I called the city. I actually sent some pictures by email to the city to really inquire and find out more information. And then I sent the person that I'm, the client, I sent him the pictures and then let him know what I was doing and what I've discovered. So I think he might be out of town, so I haven't heard back, but those are things that, like you guys are saying, I don't think a bigger entity would have, dropped everything, went and previewed a property, emailed the city, take picture, you know what I mean? It's just going that extra mile to, take care of somebody and answer some questions and to try and get the sale.
Right. True. Absolutely. The whole idea is doing things that others won't do or can't do is how you can dominate and exploit.
Yeah.
In the best possible.
Right. I think a lot of the teams too in big agents, they're more transactional than relationship. So if you focus on relation, because like I said, like I'm kind of getting, like, I'm basically taking Grant Cardone and Ricky Caruth and kind of like putting them together in my kind of thing. And it's like, it's too early to tell because it takes time. But marketing is a big ship to turn, but I'm seeing little results. I'm onto something here.
I like it. So, so the other thing he talks about, and it's be first, and you don't have to be first in the space, but it's important you are considered as first. And so the message you want to send to the marketplace through your persistent action is, no one can keep up with me. I'm not going away. I'm not a competitor. I am the space. Powerful. And then the social media example is that Grant posted on Twitter 48 times a day when he first started out with his, bigger business. And the more he posted, the more people liked him, and the more he put out there, the more people he helped. And he always says, whenever he got resistance, like, oh, people are unsubscribing or, complaining, good, let's do it even more. Let's widen the net even, and I love his thinking. It's like, it's 10x thinking.
I love that.
Well, that's like the same thing, and I believe he brings out that that radio guy, Rush Limbaugh or however you pronounce his name, where he says, people that love me listen to me for an hour or two. People that hate me listen to me for 4 to 6 hours. Where it's just because they're just looking for ammo to use against him, and that's
I love that, Adam.
And that's where this kind of thing is. He had said this before. Is he got on Twitter and he was posting like a couple times a day, and then he's like, well, screw that. He's like, so he has his team twice every half hour, twice an hour, 24/7. And when I did that, he's like, I just ran people like, oh, you're posting so much, you're posting too much, you're bugging people. And he's like, all of a sudden my business grew, and he's like, are you even in business anymore? And he's like, people from other places that were hating on him were coming over to him and doing business with him.
Right.
So it's
interesting. So this is kind of what you were talking about, Adam. So when you take the right amount of action, you will get a new set of problems, which is absolutely true. I see that in my own business. And your competition will start promoting you. We don't do that, but they do. Market conditions won't improve until you improve the way you think and approach the market, which, is so true. It's so interesting because, I was not around in real estate for like the crash or the downturn. I wasn't in real estate during that time. But I know a lot of people left real estate and struggled to figure out what to do or how to work their business. So they left, and then now we're in this market, which is They don't have enough inventory and it's a seller's market. And I hear people complain about that. It's like, it's like, find ways to exploit what the market is doing to make it, to use it to your advantage. So anyway, so now what I want to talk about is what time is it? It is 9:36, and maybe we can end early. Last time we agreed we were going to find something to 10x, and we were going to come back and kind of give our results. So who wants to start? Yeah?
I did maybe about like a 4x or 5x, to be honest.
What did you do a 4 or 5x on?
So one of my things, just being newer, which is 1% of index use, is lead generation and follow-up. And I looked at my database, and it's decent, but I went through and I studied it. And I went to all of in KB Core you can sort with the home valuations, which is actually really cool. I figured that out. So I sorted out all the home valuations, and when they come in, usually like from next door, I will, if they don't have, if they bail out before they put their information in there, I'll at least get an address and stuff. So I'll hashtag them with 0 value. So what I did was, and that means that they didn't follow through on that. So I started with them, did a zero value search. So that way I basically just give a quick and dirty valuation. And I drove around and I dropped off handwritten. It wasn't even postcards. It was like cardstock. Mm-hmm. And I just hand wrote stuff on there and stapled my business card to it. And just, kind of went, because it's illegal to put things in the mailbox unless it's actual mail. Right. But I basically just popped the door and slid it in there, shut it so they could see it sticking out, kind of a thing. Yeah. I did that. I started working expireds. I made that video earlier in the week with expireds, and I dropped that stuff off. I just basically went through my database, and everybody that I had contact information for, I sent out basically just something. If I had an email and a text, like they got both messages both ways. I just completely, if you're in my database and I have contact information and you haven't closed with me, you got communication from me. As long as you were subscribed, you got communication from me.
Right.
So just trying to work the database I have and just do a big push of, hey, back in September you did a home valuation and you didn't finish it. If you're still interested in selling your home, or even getting an opinion about how much you could get in this market, basically here's that whole thing. So, and just
good
putting
job.
some bait out there,
Oh, that's fantastic. You actually did the next step, and you like drove to the houses, and like you like saw the properties, and that's great.
Oh yeah. I went. Yeah, I got a full size truck, and I went through a complete tank of gas. So,
Jeff, Julie, are you available to tell us what you did? Are you?
Yeah. Yes. Hold on.
Okay. She's checking in her son to the.
Yeah. Actually, I really like Adams. That was really cool. I actually, hold on.
You want us to come back to you, Julie?
Hold on, I'm just walking out here for a minute.
Would you want us to come back to you?
No, I'm good. I can, he's good. Okay. So, I actually have a couple things. So I really liked Adam's thing. I actually am, I'm doing that on a different scale, in that I did that, next door a couple weeks ago, and I got like 50 people that tried to type in their address and get their evaluation, so that my KV Core captured that. So it's a big process because I'm keeping track of everything in my computer. So I make sure that, when they do call me, I know what I sent them and what I said and who they are. But I'm actually mailing those, hand addressing the envelope and mailing those out to everybody versus driving around my neighborhood. And I seriously, there's almost 60 of these, and I've got like 18 more left to do, but it takes like an hour just to do 6. It's like a big deal.
I know, but do it, Julie, because you remember my story.
I know. I'm doing it. I'm forcing myself to do it. But last night I was at a house writing an offer until 8:30, and then home sending it at 10:30. And I'm a buyer's agent and a listing agent on one of my house properties. It's like, yeah, things are like growing crazy right now. But I feel like for me, it's just, it's like getting my name out there, and I'm doing, I'm meeting, I'm going and doing restaurant giveaways. I don't know if I mentioned that to you before, but I do I collaborate with a restaurant, and I do a little video, and then on the restaurant, and then I post it all over social media as a contest where people can like it or love it, and then comment on my question like, what's your favorite sushi roll or something. And then if they share it to their page, they get a double chance to win. And they win like a $50 gift card to this restaurant. So I've actually got mortgage bankers asking me if they can participate with me in these giveaways. and so they're finding restaurants that they are, know the owners of or whatever, and they're introducing me to the owners. And so that's kind of taken off, which is just getting my name out there. And the only thing that I say in that video is, hi, my name is Julie Younger with eXp Realty. That's all I say. And then I go into, how cool the restaurant is and, whatever. So that's something I'm doing. And then the last thing is I think it all goes into one thing, which is just getting my name out there. And it's actually, like I said, I've been a realtor for a long, long time, but I have always been shy about saying what I do and who I am. And now I'm handing out more business cards, and so proud that I'm with eXp, and so proud that I'm a real estate agent, and, and telling everybody, and people want to refer me. I mean, it's crazy. So that's what I think I'm 10xing, is just getting my name out there.
You can fulfill her, so I don't know what her problem is.
Awesome, Julie. Jeff,
Thanks.
how about you?
Interesting enough, my massive action is a lot like Adam's and a lot like Julie's. I haven't done video, I don't know, since 2012-ish or something like that, on a pretty regular basis. The last year, since I ramped up with the XP and stuff, I kind of let that go because I've had my hands full with other stuff. But listing inventory being so incredibly tough right now, it's crazy strange right now. Anyway, and the truth is, I'll admit this to you guys more than anybody else, a lot of my competition is kicking ass with the listing inventory, and I am not. And that, I'm not used to that. I'm usually, busy with the top 4 or 5 people doing the same things. So time for massive action. I bought into, I think we talked about this once, but I bought into offers.com. It's a home valuation lead capture type deal, but it's predictive analytics. I got a database. I bought basically my zip code plus some, and they just keep tabs on these folks as far as their internet behavior. They do surveys to verify whether they're actually considering selling, all that stuff. And so they keep a steady stream of updates coming at me saying, this person is ranked 10 points higher in their likability or their probability score or whatever. so that's reaching outside of my sphere, which for the last 10 years, 95% of my business is repeat and referral. So it's something I haven't really made a huge effort at going outside of my sphere in a long time. So with that list, I can target on Facebook. I can create a custom audience and target those people. I can get them in a retargeting loop where they've been to my website, and now I can follow them around on Facebook and throw a bunch of advertisements at them. Doing that, but I promised myself that if I ever take action to prospect outside of my sphere, I need to take the same action to reach my sphere equally somehow. I don't ever want to tip the scales too far one way, because that's kind of what got me where I'm at right now. I think I've spent so much time on my sphere when they aren't selling and they don't know anybody that's selling, then I'm stuck with, you know. So on the theme of video, I've hired a firm to basically come up with the content and produce the videos. So I'm going to be doing something very much like what Julie's talking about. Right now it's going to be once a month, but I'm going to highlight an attraction or a restaurant or a business. Because if you look at my video library, it's all about, you know, my business and how can I help you and how I can help you. And there's nothing really just engaging that the average person's going to want to watch.
Right.
So that's what we're going to work on. And I've actually literally yesterday just started the deep dive so they can figure out what like my brand is going to be through this video series or whatever. But anyway, both of those were significant financial investments and significant time investments in changing, you know, some of my systems. And so I feel like it's massive action.
It is.
The video thing is actually stepping outside of my comfort zone a little bit, and I've been trying to do that because I look at my videos.
You were natural though. That was amazing. That video was, oh my God. I'm like, wanted to keep watching. It was awesome.
Thank
It
you.
was hilarious because just knowing your personality and then seeing you do that was it was enjoyable. So,
I just did another one yesterday that's kind of, it's not like how you doing kind, but it's that quick scene change, you know, flashing back and forth, and I'll post it to the group if you don't mind it.
yeah,
I find it funny, but I also find that sometimes my sense of humor isn't like everybody else's. It's maybe a little dry, but
that's okay.
Anyway, I laughed most of the afternoon yesterday after I published it. Just
as long as you're laughing, that's what's important. It's about how you feel.
right.
Yeah. If you can't laugh at yourself, you shouldn't do whatever you're going to do. That's the biggest thing. But
Well,
I love the video.
so I just had two
ahead.
ideas that came to mind for Julie and Jeff,
Okay.
and it has to do with restaurant stuff. So I'm a sucker for video. I've been doing video just this year. I've been committed to doing it, and I love that idea. And with Jeff, so what about aligning yourself with local investors that basically make cash offers on homes that are possibly too low or essentially too picky to where the sellers don't want to take that? Could you maybe do a lead exchange where, like, if you get a lead on a home that's like, yeah, it's kind of like, I don't really do fixer uppers, put it over to one of your investor friends, and then, hey, if you guys make an offer on a cash offer on something and they don't want to take it, like, can you give me that lead so maybe I can see if I can help them out, and just kind of give that whole exchange thing. That's one idea for you. And for Julie, one of these things, if I had the money, I would have done this yesterday, but I don't because I'm poor. But one of the ideas that I want to do with restaurants and bars especially, so there's basically a swag manufacturer called Foreign Print that's in town here. And what I want to do is I want to make branded coasters. And I want to have a special message on them that if they, and I'm going to clear it with them, with the establishment, that basically like, hey, you guys run low, call me up, I'll bring you more. But if they bring me that coaster from that restaurant or bar, and they either list and buy with me, or if they straight up buy with me, bringing that coaster in and doing that will get them a free 1-year home warranty. And then because they're bringing that back, I'll just give it back to the establishment. But it's basically, the thing is, like, you and go to the different establishments around that I enjoy and that they know me and things like that. Just something little and cheap that, I mean,
yeah,
$500 for just to build that up and for a little bit, and just do it for a year and build that up, and then kind of refer that out. Just an idea that I was kind of tossed around, that when you're doing these, you know, lifestyle videos in the restaurants, give that little incentive. And I mean,
I love it.
Yeah, if I can get some free stuff that doesn't have to cost me $500, and not only do I not have to worry about appliances and structure essentially for the first year that I buy this home, that's going to give me a little bit more peace of mind. I'm totally on board with that.
So you're talking about this. You're talking about somebody that you're already in a transaction with. I'm talking. This is a cold lead. This is you get coasters and you talk to the bar owner. Say, hey, because that's a consumer. Everybody, they get wet, they get destroyed, they get whatever. Basically, like, I just want to be able to put my coasters here and explain to them, like, there's going to be basically like an offer on here for people that read it, that if they take this with them and call me and do a transaction with me, they're going to get basically a special. They're going to get a free home warranty.
It's just it's an
Ooh,
offer.
I like it.
So that it like, and then basically like if if you drop off 50 and 30 people take them away, well, then the bar manager just needs to call you and, okay, I'll bring 30 more over, kind of a thing. So you're
can just have
you're resupplying them.
Stop, like, here, do you need more?
Right, exactly. And just do that to get some and have it with only your information. So, eXp Realty, obviously, because it's marketing compliance. If you got some brand, I'm branded as a team, so I would have that on there too. My slogan, and then bring this coaster, even mention this coaster, or you could do your call capture text code, the name of the bar.
That's good. I like the text code.
Okay.
I like the text code.
That way they can sit there, and everybody's on their freaking phone these days. So that way they could just shoot out a text, really, and boom, they're in your KB core.
Yep.
And
that's huge.
And then you can put the code. So let's say Barney's Bar. Okay, we'll just put the text code as Barney's Coaster or Barney Coaster. So that way, okay, well, that came from Barney's Bar on the coaster. It's in your KB core. You can track which bar and restaurant, which establishment is your best one, and apply the Pareto principle. Drop your 20 every year. Evaluate your bottom 20%.
Or a better way to do it, Adam, is have a Google form or something that when they enter in, you have just one coaster, so that you don't, for printing costs, just one coaster that you can, when people enter their email address or whatever, it takes them to a form, and like, where did you get this? And they could enter in, or they could just type it in, whatever. But hey, we only have 5 more minutes.
Yep.
And
Okay. Sorry.
But I loved it. So, so my 10X, I did 2 things, and I know this sounds crazy, but my dad died in October, and after he died, like, I had to bring a lot of his stuff to my house, and my house is just a mess. Like, I could not get it organized. Like, so what I did is I got my house completely organized. And that just felt so good, just so I can focus. So that was one thing. And then the other thing, I meet with my EXP team, my downline, my revenue share group. We meet at Starbucks once a week for a few hours. And when I'm around other people, and this is why I love to mastermind like this, and Adam, you're so much like me, because you're coming up with these ideas like this, because you're around people. They're your ideas, but because you're around people, it's coming to you. So I'm the same way. And so I came up with this extraordinary idea that I think is extraordinary, but it made me so excited. How when you get, your insides, you're just like, oh, you're like high inside because you're so excited about this idea. So it has to do with getting more listings, because my partner and I, Rebecca, we read the newsletter every week you know, we get a weekly newsletter from our association. So we live stream in our Facebook group for our association. We live stream us reading the newsletter. It's called Rebecca Reads the Newsletter and Sylvia Drinks Wine. And we're a hit. People love us. And we just started doing it. And the president and the vice president are like, this is awesome. They love it because now people care about what the newsletter says because we make it fun. But anyway, we were talking about our low inventory, and we've had low inventory since I've been a realtor in 2016. You know, and and Rebecca was saying, you know what, you guys, we're doing our community a disservice by not having these listings, not having enough listings for our buyers, and their listings are out there. We need to do something. So anyway, we were kind of just brainstorming ideas, and my idea is that we're going to go through all the expireds that have happened over the last 3 years and make sure, you know, and we're going to split the list between my team. I don't have a real team. I mean, my revenue share group team. And then we're going to split the list, and everyone's going to find out, have these, you know, properties ever relisted? Did they sell? You know, and weed out all the ones that have those expireds that have never relisted over the last, you know, since they expired 3 years ago or whatever. And then we're going to we're going to split it up. We're going to get balloons, note cards, and we're going to physically go to the houses, leave knock on the doors, leave the balloon if they're not there, and the note cards if they're not there. Just explain, hey, you would help you sell your house. And if you could sell your house for the right price today, would you sell it? And do a 10-day listing with us. We're going to a 10-day listing. You know, would you be willing to just do a 10-day listing? And we're going to have a time period that for one time period, it's going to start like they're going to list on a Wednesday, and it's going to last 10 days, a 10-day listing. And during that 10-day listing time, we're going to do we're going to do radio, we're going to do everything, a huge like open house. Open houses are going to be a weekend open house, one on Saturday and one on Sunday. And any open houses, we don't have manpower to stand there, you know, and host open house. We're going to invite other realtors from other organizations, other brokers, just to man those open houses. If they get buyer leads from them, great. But we're going to, you know, do that to involve other people. And then have those 2 open houses, and then, you know, have any and all initial offers due by such and such a time, and see what happens. And so we're so excited. We're putting this together, but it's going to take collaboration and more than just one of us to do on the scale that we want to do. I mean, our goal is to get 30 listings in Grand Rapids between the 3 of us. And so I'm so excited about it. And then, you know, and then if it doesn't sell within the 10 days, or they don't like an offer 10 days, they'll have the option to just let it expire or to renew with us for a real listing. And then, you know, and I like the idea of maybe the free warranty I could do to keep listing or something. I don't know. But anyway, that's what we're doing. And I can tell you guys because you're not in my area.
That's amazing. I love that. Yeah, that's like 10xxx.
I know, I'm so excited. So anyway, so that's it. Does anybody else have anything else to share? Because the other people that are joining us, they weren't here last week, so they didn't know about our little assignment. But if anybody wants to share anything, please do. But it is 10 o'clock even, so should probably go so that Jeff can. I know Jeff's ready. Adam's ready. They're both dressed. I still need to get dressed. And
yeah,
I'm dressed too.
I'm
dressed too, by the way.
A phone call in a half hour from. But one of the frustrating things about this is like I've had like 3 or 4 buyers like lined up, and then everybody dropped off and they're looking to rent now.
Well, go find new buyers.
And it's like, you know, like it's like.
I know.
It is what it is, but it's one of those things, and it's like I have to take that Ricky and remind myself, like, I work on their timeline. They don't work on my timeline. Go get some fresh meat. You know?
Get some fresh meat. So, okay, you guys, we're gonna end.
Hey, for the record, real quick, you have no idea. I have a shirt on, but you have no idea if I have pants on. For the record,
I have no idea if you have pants on or not.
That's actually why I was late today, because I was looking for some clean pants.
Good job.
Nice.
Okay, you
Hey,
guys.
wait, really quick, Jeff, where'd you get your coaster?
A local promotional products company made them for me.
Nice.
Okay. Can
They
you
are like the
send me a
fiber.
picture of it?
Yeah,
Can you take a picture of it and send it to me? That's so cool.
of course.
Okay. Okay. Hey, by the way, I'm dressed today.
Good job, Julie. I mean, I have clothes on. I'm just not ready for the public. Like I could go to Walmart, but that's the extent of it. So, okay. Okay, you guys
Okay.
have a great day.
You too. Take care.